something that we have to preach at a very young age for these kids to understand that, hey, I'm talking about shit before damn they get out of elementary. We need to be talking about this. We need to be
I
talking
agree.
about this. I'm going to have this conversation with my daughter. I got to. What's
Man,
this right here?
I say
I
we need
thought it
to
was kind of
reparent
whack, and I
ourselves.
also thought that.
Before I let this play.
Mhm.
So along the lines of what you're saying is it pertains to this, because I think we've had extensive conversation about this, and it all comes back down to who's reproducing with who,
Right.
because we're reproducing the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to reparent ourselves, bro. We need to be taking the advice that we would give ourselves if we was our if we copied and pasted ourselves. There's a
Mm-hmm.
older version of Cavi and an older version of Vic.
Mm-hmm.
We should be mentoring right now
Right.
ourselves,
Right.
because we ain't got nobody to come in and tell us what to do, but we need some encouragement. You know what I'm saying? And we need to do that to the younger version of ourselves too. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, you didn't know. Your pops didn't know. You got more information now. You got less excuses. You could double back and fix some of this stuff, and you know what I'm saying, and move forward.
Right.
You ain't
Absolutely.
got to live in guilt. You got to live in shame. And that's
Nope.
the first. Because like I'm writing I got another book that I'm working on, and it's and the concept is like about masculine shadow work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's source work, and you gotta. There's always gonna be shame and guilt and regret no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what comes with being a man.
Right.
It comes with being an adult, but like
Right.
specifically, a man is not afforded the luxury to walk around putting blame on everything.
No.
And in the case in point, the self deletion is so high amongst men because they can't do it.
Right.
They just psychologically can't do it, because staying here physically and wallowing in it is going to lead to you being outside under a bridge, doped up. You know what I'm saying? And like in Kensington, you know what I'm saying, in Philly or any of these drug infested places. Those are men with serious mental issues, unable to compensate, and actually heal from it
Right.
for whatever reasons, a myriad of reasons. But I think that this particular topic is part of like masculine shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
And when we keep having to bear the brunt and responsibility of, like the blame of black men not being out front or not stepping up, or when they step, but then I always bring up tone policing, and not to go tit for tat, but like you want to be led, but you don't want to listen.
Right.
You
Right.
can't have it both ways. You
No.
you say step up, but don't step right there. You say
Mm-hmm.
speak up, but don't say that. How about you shut the fuck up? You ain't got no solution, so be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then you get situations like this.
There's a girl that said that she thinks that women who choose to have
Right.
children are unintelligent. And while I didn't love her delivery, I thought it was kind of whack. And I also thought that she could have expounded a little bit more on her reasoning. I have to say, I don't disagree with her completely on a fundamental level, because having children in America is an extremely dangerous choice. It can cost you your life. Having a baby isolates you, it limits your earning power, it renders you dependent on your family, your partner, or even the kindness of strangers for support. And should that support fall through, you could be left scrambling for survival. I barely survived pregnancy as a black woman in America. I barely survived postpartum depression as a black woman in America. And now to this day, I'm barely surviving parenting two children as a single mother. And the only reason that I have survived this long is because of the kindness that has been extended to me from my friends and my family. Without that kindness, I might not be here today. So when we analyze risk versus reward and think about the choice to become a mom in a country that hates women and hates single mothers even more, it's an extremely risky choice. Now, I want to also add that I don't think there's a correlation between low intelligence and women who choose to have babies. But I think a
Yeah,
lot
it
of us
is.
entered into that decision with limited information. And the more that we share that information with each other, the more women are choosing not to have children. That is
Okay, so the thing is that she's talking about having children. I don't think she or the person who made this originally, I don't think they were talking about having children in a made family.
Yeah, it
Right,
was no
right,
marry, but like don't
right,
marry before you carry.
right,
The other thing is too, she got a Caribbean accent, and most times, um, non FBA,
hmm,
they don't find out they're black until they have to take deal with some of the infrastructure processes. Okay,
right, hmm,
so you find out she was black when she went, since she had that baby,
right, right,
and so like listening to that, it is what she's saying is valid, but it's also very contradictory because even in their culture, they believe in marriage. But you thought you were gonna go to a different country and be a single parent and thought you're gonna have more options. Like it's not news that in America that black women in pregnancy and is a big issue. It's never not been an issue.
hmm,
The mortality rate, what I'm saying, associated with black women enduring pregnancy and surviving, and the health of the kids and everything else has always been a question because the
yeah.
system, because the healthcare system is fatigued behind the amount of birth from the black community.
Well, I won't even say the amount of birth because we got to be honest. If
We
we
got a lot of
talking about
abortion too.
right, you got a lot of abortions. So the thing is that people don't realize the impact of abortion on our culture. When I talk about abortion, um, I like to bring out the number because most people don't know the number. They
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, abortion, it's between a mother, child, and God, whatever." Ain't got nothing to do with men. Okay, understand that, but own this. Since 1973,
You don't put it up
black.
on the screen.
No, we ain't got to put up a screen. I just say what I'm gonna say. Since 1973, there have been 23 million abortions performed by black women.
Since what? When? Since 19.
1973.
Okay.
23 million abortions. So that changes the whole demographic of black people. Right now, in 2025, black people should either be close or high or the highest demographic of race in America. Either close or highest by 2025. Because like I said, if you had 23 million abortions, we'll take from 1973 to about 2005. By this time, 2005, child should be 18 years old, right? Or close
Yep.
to 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're gonna take that 23 million and you're going to multiply that probably by 3. So you're going to have almost 70 million additional black people walking on the land of the United States if those women keep those kids. If those women keep those kids and their offspring reproduce as well.
Yeah.
And possibly even more than that.
Oh yeah. Very quickly,
So
exponentially.
so I mean, at the end of the day, being sexually undisciplined and not having the nuclear family being the center of our community has literally killed us.
Yep.
It has literally killed us, numbers wise. It has killed us. We should be the most powerful people in America right now, politically, financially, everything. Had we not had 23 million abortions since 1973. But we're supposed to look at this as some type of women's right victory, right? This is women's rights victory. It's not a victory for black people. It's not a victory for the black community. That is terrible for the black community. I want to look this up real quick before I speak on it, but let's see here. How many people are in New York?
Yeah.
You understand?
You want to
Okay,
compare the 23 billion to
so there are 8.258 million people in New York City. Now, I want you guys who are watching this to think about New York City. The first time that you went to New York City, did you witness New York City in its busiest hour from 9 a.m. or 5 p.m., people getting out? You remember the traffic. You remember all these different things that you saw in New York City. That was a surreal experience that you saw that many people in one place moving about. 8 million people in New York. I just told you that Black women have had 23 million abortions. 8 times 3 is what?
24.
24. Black women have nuked New York City 3 fucking times. Let me repeat that. Black women have nuked New York City 3 fucking times. And when I say nuke,
but what the hell, bro?
And when I say nuke, I mean the nuclear bomb hit and killed everybody. We don't like to look at numbers. We don't like to look at numbers. It's a victory. Women's rights, victory. Y'all let Margaret Sanger trick y'all into killing your whole fucking race. That's what you did. That letting Margaret Sanger, a person who had the Negro Project that wanted to exterminate as many Black people as she possibly could, taking the advice from Margaret Sanger as a Black woman would be the equivalent of Jewish people taking the advice of how to eat well from Adolf Hitler.
Come on. It's true. It's so true. Yeah. Like it's
and y'all think this is a women's rights victory.
But what the hell, bro?
All right, folks. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end. This has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go get the book. And most importantly, I will see you beyond the algorithm, because that's where life actually happens.